-20 degrees Celsius, extreme blizzard. My husband's childhood sweetheart, Felicity, was making a fuss about going to the riverside to see the snow. I asked my husband to pick up a package from the express locker on the way, but he didn't return with Felicity until the next day, and the package was overdue. I dragged my 4-month-plus pregnant belly to retrieve the package. Felicity, hearing that I paid a €0.5 overdue fee, hugged my husband in distress. "Brother Aiden, I feel so bad for you. You work so hard to earn money, and your wife doesn't do anything at home and wastes money." My husband roared. "If you're not earning money, shouldn't you be thrifty? Call the courier company immediately and demand the courier return the €0.5 overdue fee." I held back my anger and explained. "The overdue wasn't the courier's fault. You forgot to pick up the package for me yesterday, that's why it was overdue." Felicity immediately cried. "Brother Aiden, it's all my fault for insisting on seeing the snow yesterday, causing you to forget to pick up the package for your wife." As she said that, Felicity rushed out of the house, only to be struck in the head by an ice spike falling from the sky, causing her to bleed. After that, my husband was even more gentle and considerate to me. A few days later, another blizzard fell. My husband lied that he would accompany me to get a package, and forcibly stuffed me into the largest express locker. Through the cold iron door, he hugged Felicity and sneered at me. "Don't you like picking up packages the most? I'll let you live in the express locker and pick up as many as you want." While bending over to get a package, my husband's childhood sweetheart, Felicity, kicked me hard in the lower back. The next second, I was ruthlessly stuffed into the cold, dark express locker by my husband. I struggled desperately, and my husband kicked me, causing me to curl up in pain. With a click, the locker door was locked from the outside. My whole body was curled up in the narrow express locker, and the severely compressed pregnant belly was throbbing with excruciating pain. I desperately pounded on the locker door, crying and shouting, "Husband, my stomach hurts so much. Open the locker door, or both the child and I will die." My husband sneered. "Don't you like online shopping the most? You have to pick up packages every day. Felicity is right. Let you live in the express locker and pick up your fill." Felicity giggled. "Don't worry, sister-in-law. I definitely won't let you pay an overdue fee this time. This express locker can be kept for free for 18 hours. You can reflect on yourself in there first, and when it's almost 18 hours, I'll have Brother Aiden let you out." I was shaking all over with pain, desperately pounding on the locker door to explain. "Husband, I really didn't waste money. Most of the things I bought online are for you and the baby." Aiden kicked the express locker fiercely, angrily interrupting my explanation. "Didn't waste money? Shipping is free for all packages now. I've never heard of anyone having to pay €5 for picking up a package from an express locker. I think you just don't take my money seriously." My stomach hurt more and more, and I could only drop my dignity and beg desperately through the locker door. "Husband, I was wrong. I'll pick up the packages myself in the future and never pay an overdue fee again. Please, open the locker and take me to the hospital. My stomach hurts so much." Aiden hesitated and fell silent. Felicity giggled. "Brother Aiden, look at her, she's really unrepentant. Even at this time, she's still using the baby in her belly to threaten you." Aiden kicked the locker door hard, sneering. "Don't you like paying overdue fees? I think you should reflect on yourself in there, and after 18 hours, I'll pay €5 for the overdue fee and let you out." I was so scared that tears streamed down my face, desperately hammering the iron door of the express locker. "Aiden, it's -20 degrees outside. The baby and I will die, we really will die." Aiden laughed mockingly. "Now you know you're scared? When you kicked Felicity out of the house for a €5 overdue fee last time, causing her to almost be killed by an ice spike, why didn't you think that Felicity might also die?" Tears streaming down my face, I shook my head desperately. "I didn't know she would be hit by an ice spike. Husband, I was wrong. Please let me out. I'll kowtow and apologize to her. You can punish me however you want. My stomach hurts so much. Really hurts so much. If this goes on, something will really happen to the baby." Aiden was silent. Felicity snorted. "The bastard whose father isn't even known, it's fine if it dies." "Felicity, what nonsense are you talking about? The one in my belly is my and Aiden's biological child." I roared through gritted teeth. Felicity deliberately said, "Ah, and said to my husband in a aggrieved tone, "Brother Aiden, I heard from your next-door neighbor that several times when you worked overtime at night, they saw a delivery guy entering your house, and he only came out after more than an hour. A single man and a single woman. Who knows what they're doing in there? Maybe Serena already cheated on you a long time ago, and even the bastard in her belly is from those delivery guys." I was so shocked that I almost forgot to struggle. "Aiden, you clearly know that those delivery guys came to our house to help me pack packages. After I got pregnant, my husband used the excuse of salary cuts at work to reduce my monthly living expenses from 2,000 yuan to 500 yuan. The compensation money from my parents' demolition was all used to buy this matrimonial home, and I couldn't even afford the money for prenatal checkups. In order to earn some milk powder money for the baby, I took on some work making pottery handicrafts online. Clay dolls are easily broken, and every time I shipped them, the delivery guys would sympathize with me as a pregnant woman, and it was inconvenient for me to move around, so they would come to my house to help me pack. I clearly told him about these things a long time ago. How could he suspect that I had an affair with the delivery guy? Shut up. What kind of package takes more than an hour to pack? Who knows if you didn't take this opportunity to close the door and cheat on me?" Aiden said coldly. I continued to hammer on the locker door. "Then let me out, and we'll go to the hospital now to do amniocentesis. Do a paternity test. If the child isn't yours, I'll leave with nothing." Felicity scoffed. "Even if the paternity test proves that this child is Brother Aiden's, that doesn't prove that you didn't cheat. I've already heard from the neighbors that those delivery guys in your neighborhood are always out of breath and covered in sweat every time they come out of your house. Who knows what kind of shameful things you're doing in there for more than an hour?" Aiden's tone was gloomy. "Flies don't bite seamless eggs, Serena. You just stay here and reflect for a night. If you can hold on until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I'll consider letting you out and listening to your explanation." After speaking, Aiden took Felicity's hand and walked away without hesitation, stepping on the accumulated snow, leaving only me, locked in the cold, narrow express locker, my body contorted, my stomach throbbing, and blood seemed to be seeping out from below. My consciousness became increasingly blurred. I clenched my fists and desperately knocked on the iron locker door. "Is anyone there? Come on, is there anyone who can save me?" Suddenly, a burst of footsteps stopped next to the express locker, and I was overjoyed, pounding on the locker door frantically. "Is anyone outside? Are you the delivery guy? I'm locked in the express locker. Can you help me open the door?" A chuckle, Felicity's voice, sounded outside the door. "Serena, stop shouting. The snow outside is so heavy. Where are the delivery guys? The courier company has already stopped delivery." I said I wanted to eat mutton stewed with radish, so Brother Aiden braved the heavy snow and drove out to buy me mutton. Guess by the time he stews the mutton and eats it with me, will you and that little yajong in your belly have already frozen to death? My vision went black, and I endured the severe pain, questioning word by word. "Felicity, I have no grudges against you. If you like Aiden, I can let him have you. As long as you let me out, I'll divorce him immediately and give you my place, okay?" Felicity sneered. "Divorce? Don't think I don't know. Your family got 3 apartments after the demolition. You want to divorce and take these 3 apartments with you? Dream on. Serena, let me tell you, Brother Aiden is mine, and those 3 apartments of yours are also mine, so you can just take that little yajong in your belly and die in this express locker." Outside the locker door, a sound of splashing water suddenly came. Felicity actually brought a large bucket of water in order to freeze me and the baby to death. In the north, where the temperature is more than 20 degrees below zero, water freezes instantly. The water splashed on the iron door of the express locker, and soon, the narrow gaps began to freeze. "No, don't." The air in the express locker was getting less and less, and I gradually couldn't breathe. Just then, the phone watch on my wrist suddenly rang. That's right. I still have a phone watch. I heard people say before that pregnant women should play with their phones less, so for the health of the baby, I specifically bought a phone watch. Seeing the word husband on the caller ID, I clicked to answer with trembling hands. "Husband, you've been deceived by Felicity. She just admitted it herself. She just wants to kill me and the baby. She wants to steal you, and steal the house my parents left me." On the other end of the phone, My husband was silent for a moment, then suddenly chuckled twice. Serena, you really are unrepentant. I was just saying good things about you in front of Felicity, but I didn't expect you to dare to spread rumors and slander her behind her back. I've known Felicity since I was 4 years old, and we grew up together as childhood sweethearts. How could I not know what kind of person she is? I was anxious and shouted at the other end of the phone. Every word I said is true. You can come to the express locker right now. Felicity brought a bucket of water and splashed a lot of water on the express locker. She just wants to completely seal the express locker while you're not here, and let me and the baby suffocate to death in the locker. Aiden was silent again. Just when I thought he would come back to save me for the sake of the child in my belly, Aiden laughed. He sneered. Serena, when did you become like this? Lying, slandering, framing. What bad things are you afraid to do? You actually said that Felicity, in order to kill you and the baby, brought a bucket of water and splashed water on the express locker? Do you know that last time you kicked Felicity out of the house, she was hit in the head by an ice spike and bled, and her foot was also sprained? Now the snow outside is so thick, how could she possibly carry a big bucket of water from our house to the express locker? Seeing the little power left on the phone watch, I was completely anxious. Aiden, there are surveillance cameras here at the express locker. You just need to look at the surveillance footage to know that I'm not lying to you. My stomach hurts so much, please let me out quickly and take me to the hospital, otherwise the baby will really die. Aiden suddenly roared, Baby? How dare you mention that bastard? Who knows if this child is mine? The gaps in the express locker had been completely sealed by the rapidly freezing water. The severe pain in my abdomen made my vision go black. The air in the locker was getting less and less, almost making me unable to breathe. I knew I couldn't delay any longer, and with my last bit of strength, I finally softened to Aiden. Husband, I know I was wrong. Please let me out. I'll apologize to Felicity. Hearing me admit my mistake, Aiden showed a satisfied smile. Okay, since you know you were wrong, I'll persuade Felicity to give you one last chance. I'm going back now to stew mutton for Felicity. If you can hold on until the mutton is stewed, I'll consider taking you to the hospital. You know, the snow outside is almost knee-deep now, and you can't get a taxi at all. After saying that, the phone was hung up mercilessly. My eyes burned with hatred, and with a wah sound, I vomited a mouthful of stagnant blood. How dare Aiden? He actually forgot that the SUV he used to threaten me was bought with the demolition money my parents left me. He drove the SUV that I paid for to buy groceries and cook for Felicity. But he watched me and my child, alone and desperate, waiting to die in the cold delivery locker. At this moment, my mind suddenly became incredibly clear. I knew that no matter how much I apologized and pleaded, Aiden wouldn't come back to save me. He had decided that the child in my belly was a bastard conceived in an affair with some delivery guy. And that bitch Felicity would definitely try her best to prevent Aiden from coming to save me. She wanted to kill me, and the child in my belly. That way, she could rightfully steal my husband and seize my dowry worth millions. The last basin of water splashed accurately onto the delivery locker with a whoosh sound. Felicity's almost venomous voice gradually faded away. Serena, just go die in peace. Your husband, and the millions of dowry your parents left you, I will definitely take good care of them for you. I didn't say a word, clutching the phone watch with only half a bar of battery left. The locker door was completely frozen shut. The water seeping in through the cracks quickly froze under me, and the icy water slipped through the gaps in my pants, burrowing into my stomach. The bone-chilling cold felt like millions of silver needles stabbing and churning inside me. I curled up tightly in the locker, and in a daze, I felt a warm flow slowly run down between my legs. Baby, my baby. Tears instantly froze into ice in the outdoor temperature of -28 degrees. I blinked and, with trembling hands, dialed the last call for help. Hello? Is this 110? I want to report a crime. I've been locked in a delivery locker. The address is... The phone suddenly cut off. The watch was dead. No. I used my last bit of strength to desperately pound on the cold, biting metal door. Is anyone there? Save me. Save my baby. In the last moment before I lost consciousness, I seemed to hear the piercing sound of a police siren. When I woke up again, it was 3 days later. The moment I opened my eyes, my hands instinctively went to my stomach. The slightly protruding pregnant belly was completely flat. My child was gone. Aiden, Felicity, you killed my child. I want you to die a horrible death. The hospital room door slammed open from the outside, and Aiden rushed in, looking disheveled. Wife, you're awake? That's great. Felicity has been taken away by the police station. Hurry and tell the police that Felicity is just young and doesn't understand. She was just joking with you. She didn't intentionally pour water to kill you. I stared at him, and in the next second, I raised my arm and, using all my strength, slapped Aiden hard across the face with a smack. You want me to forgive Felicity? Do you know that our child is dead? Felicity killed them. Hearing that the child was dead, a complicated expression flashed across Aiden's face, and then he said carelessly, a bastard, it's better off dead. Serena, we're still young, we can have more children in the future. But Felicity is still young. She has a bright future ahead of her. You insisted on calling the police and arresting her. Isn't that ruining her whole life? I laughed in anger. Felicity is already 31 years old. But my child was only 4 months old. Who is younger? Who is more innocent? Aiden's expression was impatient. I told you it was a bastard. Who told you it was a bastard? I stared at him, questioning him word by word. Aiden, a baby aborted at 4 months. You can already tell who the father is. Do you dare to do a paternity test with the baby? Aiden was stunned. He seemed unable to believe his ears. Serena, what? What do you mean? The bastard in your belly. Wasn't that conceived in an affair you had with the delivery guy from the complex? How could it be mine? I sneered. If it's yours, wouldn't you know after checking? Or are you afraid to check? I looked at him with a mocking smile. Aiden's face was pale, his lips were trembling, and he hardly dared to meet my eyes. I looked at him and suddenly burst out laughing. Aiden, you're scared. You're afraid that the paternity test will show that the one I was carrying in my belly was really your own flesh and blood. Aren't you the most fond of your childhood sweetheart? Now your childhood sweetheart personally killed your child. Tell me, should I forgive her? Aiden took 2 steps back with a painful expression. Suddenly, the piercing sound of a mobile phone ring broke the silence in the ward. Hello, are you a family member of Felicity? Felicity committed suicide in the detention center. Aiden suddenly turned his head, staring at me with eyes wide with anger. Are you satisfied now? Serena, I said, Felicity and I grew up together as childhood sweethearts. I treat her like my own sister. She only listened to rumors from outside and mistakenly thought you put a green hat on me and poured water on you to vent my anger. Felicity is pure and kind. She never wanted to kill you. Why won't you let her go? It turned out that when people are speechless, they really laugh. I slowly put away my smile and looked at him with icy eyes. Aiden, I will not only not let Felicity go, but I will not let you go either. You locked me in the delivery locker. Felicity poured water on the delivery locker. Both of you are murderers who killed the baby. I won't let any of you go. The deep-seated hatred made my eyes almost burning with fire, making Aiden retreat again and again. Serena, just because I locked you in the delivery locker and let you reflect in it for a while, you want to call the police and arrest me? Send me to jail. I looked at him indifferently, saying word by word. You want me to forgive Felicity? Sure, when the next snowstorm comes, when it's minus 28 degrees outside. As long as you personally stuff Felicity into the delivery locker. Then you personally pour water on the delivery locker and freeze the ventilation holes. As long as she stays in there for 4 hours and doesn't die, I will sign a letter of understanding and forgive her. Aiden refused without thinking. Impossible. It's so cold. If she stays in the delivery locker for 4 hours, she will die. Before he finished speaking, Aiden suddenly froze. His gaze fell helplessly on me, and he seemed to have just discovered that my scarred, exposed face and arms were severely frostbitten. At this moment, he seemed to have just realized that during the 4 hours he locked me in the delivery locker, I almost died in that dark, cold delivery locker with the child in my belly. He stopped and looked at me hesitantly. Just then, the phone in his hand rang again. Mr. Aiden, where are you? Miss. Felicity insists on refusing treatment, and insists on waiting for you to come in person. Aiden didn't hesitate at all, and turned to leave. At the moment of opening the door, He turned his head and actually said to me in a gentle tone, just like before, "Serena, regardless of whether that child was mine or not, since the child is gone, don't think too much, we are still young. We will have many children in the future. Regarding Felicity's matter, I still hope you can forgive her. After all, you and Felicity are the most important women in my life. No matter who of you two is hurt, I feel the same pain." "Okay, I'll go see Felicity first since you're okay, then drop Felicity's case as soon as possible." After saying that, Aiden left without hesitation. I watched his hurried departure and borrowed a mobile phone from the nurse to call my cousin. Isn't Aiden relying on the fact that my parents are dead and I don't have any biological siblings to support me? So he is bullying me so recklessly? However, although my parents are gone, my uncle and aunt are still there, and I still have several cousins. In this world, I, Serena, am not alone. My cousin heard that Aiden and Felicity locked me in the delivery locker and almost killed me and the baby, and she was so angry that she rushed back to the Northeast from Shanghai overnight. When I met my cousin, I didn't have time to reminisce about the past and calmly told her 3 things. First, go to the property management immediately and retrieve the video of Aiden stuffing me into the delivery locker and Felicity pouring water on the delivery locker, trying to suffocate me alive. Second, in my name, immediately file for divorce with the court and apply for property preservation. I can't let those 2 bastards get a penny of the millions of dowry my parents left me. Third, after obtaining the video evidence, report to the police station again for intentional homicide. Cousin. She slammed the table. That bastard Aiden. Does he really think your family is nobody? He even dared to lock you in a delivery locker. Why didn't the police arrest him back then? I forced a bitter smile. I was unconscious then, fighting for my life in the ICU. Aiden said my parents were dead and I had no siblings, so the police could only let him stay at the hospital to take care of me. My cousin sneered. Now that you're alive, Aiden and Felicity, those 2 bastards, are going to pay. My cousin hired a caregiver for me and hurried out. When she returned, her face was full of fury. That dog Aiden actually issued a letter of understanding to Felicity in the name of family, and Felicity is already out of the detention center. Also, the security footage from the property management has been deleted. They said Aiden found them and complained that the security footage violated his privacy. I opened my phone expressionlessly, found the community's owner group, and posted a bounty. Dear neighbors, I was nearly murdered by my husband and his mistress, but I narrowly escaped death. However, the security footage has been deleted by the property management. I am now seeking security footage from November 10th, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., that faces the community's delivery lockers. If you have clear video footage of the entire process of my attempted murder, I promise to reward you with 100,000 yuan. The bounty announcement caused an uproar in the owner group. The property management was the first to call. Ms. Serena, we can't be blamed for deleting the security footage. It was your husband who insisted that we delete it, saying we were violating the owner's privacy. If we didn't delete it, he would have filed a complaint against us. I coldly interrupted the property management's explanation and pointed out sharply. If I remember correctly, I am the registered owner of this house. Aiden is just living in my house. His name isn't on the property deed at all. He doesn't have the right to make any decisions on behalf of me, the owner. The property management completely panicked. I calmly said to them, I'm going to divorce Aiden. This house is my premarital property. I want to take it back. I will return to reclaim the house in 2 hours. I hope the property management can arrange for some security guards to help me remove irrelevant people. After hanging up with the property management, I received the first call from someone wanting to claim the reward. It was a delivery guy I knew. Apparently, the packages they left outside were often stolen before, and the property management didn't care. So, the delivery guy bought a hidden camera himself, and installed it facing the delivery lockers. And that camera just happened to capture the entire video of Aiden locking me in the delivery locker and Felicity, carrying a full bucket of water, and pouring it onto the locker. After getting the video, my cousin immediately had someone authenticate it to confirm it wasn't fake. Then, I fulfilled my promise and transferred 100,000 yuan to the delivery guy on the spot. After taking the video to the police station to file a report, My cousin and I smiled at each other. The real trial was about to begin. Back home, I tried the password lock 3 times in a row, and each time it said the password was incorrect. I laughed in anger. Find someone to break the lock. As the locksmith was violently breaking the lock, Aiden returned, carrying large bags of fruits and vegetables and holding Felicity's hand. Seeing me having the lock broken, he frowned unhappily. Serena, why are you breaking the lock for no reason? I looked at Felicity with a mocking smile. I'd also like to know, in my own house the password lock has been changed and I, the owner, didn't even know. Aiden looked at Felicity suspiciously. Felicity immediately teared up. Aiden, honey, I'm just clumsy and accidentally entered the wrong password. I was afraid of breaking your smart lock, so I just changed the password. As she spoke, she glanced at Aiden with a blushing face and said shyly, the new password is our birthdays, so I'll never forget it again. Aiden playfully pinched her nose and turned to me, saying nonchalantly, so the password was changed? What's the big deal? You could have just called me and asked, why make such a fuss? Serena, I know you don't like Felicity, but Felicity is my sister. She's emotionally unstable right now. What's wrong with her staying at my house for a few days? Your house? My cousin pushed Aiden aside. That's funny. Have you looked to see whose name is on the property deed for this house? Aiden glanced at me unhappily, and said with a clear conscience, even if the property deed is in Serena's name, so what? This house was bought after we got married, it's marital property, and I own half of it. I chuckled. Aiden, have you forgotten? When we bought the house, you clearly had over 100,000 yuan in your account. I asked you to pay the down payment of 100,000 yuan, and put both our names on the house. But what did you say back then? You said it didn't matter who bought the house, but Felicity had just started working and didn't have a car, which was inconvenient. So you took all the money out of your account and bought her a new car. You didn't pay a single cent when we bought the house. Now you're saying you own half of it. My cousin also laughed. Whether you own half of it or not, you can explain it in court. Property management, please remove the irrelevant people. I opened the door, motioning for Aiden and Felicity to go inside and pack their things. I'll give you an hour to pack your belongings and leave my house. After an hour, anything in this house that doesn't belong to me, I can only throw out as trash. Aiden's face flushed red, and he looked at me in disbelief. Serena, we're husband and wife. Even if we get divorced, this house is marital property, and I have the right to half of it. Why are you kicking Felicity and me out? Because of this. I tapped on my phone and held it directly in front of Aiden's face. In the video, I was wearing a thin sweater, being forcibly stuffed into a delivery locker by my husband, Aiden. Immediately afterward, Felicity carried a plastic bucket and poured water into the locker over and over with a sinister expression. The locker door was being frantically pounded from the inside, and gradually, there was no movement at all. Even through the screen, you could feel the fear and despair I felt at the time. Aiden's face turned pale. Felicity screamed in fright. Impossible. The video was clearly deleted. Where did you get the video? It must be fake. I smiled coldly. Whether it's fake or not, the police will tell you the answer when we get to the police station. After saying that, I opened the door, and the next second, the police rushed in and arrested the two of them on the spot. Felicity struggled desperately, shouting, Aiden, save me. But Aiden seemed not to hear her words. He just stubbornly looked at me. Serena, we're husband and wife. Do you really have to send me to jail? I looked at him indifferently. Aiden, compared to the viciousness of you and Felicity locking me in the delivery locker, and wanting to suffocate me and our child, I'm already being kind enough by just sending you to jail, and not killing you directly. Aiden retorted unconvincingly. Aren't you at fault too? If you hadn't been flirting with those delivery guys, I wouldn't have punished you. Felicity also cried. Police officers, I really didn't intentionally murder Serena. It's all because she's been cheating on my brother outside. I couldn't stand it, so I just wanted to teach her a lesson. I didn't mean to kill her. Unfortunately, the police only believed the evidence, not Aiden. As long as she shed a few tears and cried a couple of times, he would believe any of her lies. Half a month later, the murder case of Aiden and Felicity officially went to trial. Seeing Aiden again, I almost didn't recognize the man in front of me. He had lost a lot of weight, had a buzz cut, was unshaven, and was wearing a prison uniform. Seeing me appear, Aiden immediately became agitated. Serena, withdraw the lawsuit. Tell the police that this is a family conflict. I never even thought about killing you. And Felicity, she's just a child. She doesn't know the seriousness of things. I know you've been wrong this time. I'll criticize her harshly, and I'll rent a house for her outside in the future, and never let her come to our house again. Please forgive her this time for the sake of her calling you sister-in-law, okay? I scoffed. Family conflict? Doesn't know the seriousness of things? Aiden, whether you and Felicity intentionally killed me or not, it's not up to you to say, and it's not up to me to say. At this point, only the law can decide. You should save your energy and think about what you're going to say to the judge later. Immediately afterward, the lawyer I hired submitted the latest evidence to the court. I then learned that the so-called affair between me and the delivery guy was all orchestrated by Felicity. She first created some vague gossip about me cheating with the delivery guy in front of the neighbor's aunt. Then she deliberately took Aiden to the neighbor's house to borrow something, so that Aiden could hear the neighbor aunt's slander against me. Even the large delivery locker that I was locked in was the result of Felicity's repeated complaints to the delivery company, saying that large packages should not be left outside because they were easily stolen. Only then did the delivery company come and install several large delivery lockers. In other words, from start to finish, Felicity had premeditatedly and deliberately guided Aiden, wanting to kill me. Hearing all this, Aiden was completely stunned. He looked at Felicity in disbelief. Felicity, why did you do this? Why did you want to kill Serena and my child? Felicity's eyes were red, and she laughed hysterically. Why? Because I love you. We are childhood sweethearts, a match made in heaven. Aiden, I've been waiting for you to marry me. Why did you marry this woman? What is she better than me in? Aiden looked at Felicity, then looked at me, his lips trembling, unable to say a word. At that moment, I suddenly understood Aiden's dilemma. Felicity, let me tell you why, because he looks down on you. Actually, the first time you came to my house, I asked him, since you grew up together as childhood sweethearts, why didn't he get together with you? Do you know what Aiden said at the time? He said, because you have two younger brothers and the family burden is heavy. If he got together with you, your family would not be able to help him at all. Besides, your two younger brothers would probably suck him dry in the future to buy houses and wives. But I'm different. My family is from a demolition family. My parents left me 3 houses and millions of dowry. Marrying me, he can work 30 years less. Aiden, am I right? Aiden's eyes darted around, not daring to look at me. Felicity's eyes were blazing with fire. Aiden, is what she said true? Have you never even thought about marrying me? Aiden seemed to be driven to the edge, and suddenly shouted hysterically, yes. What if I never thought about marrying you? Felicity, why don't you look at your own conditions? Your parents are both farmers, they don't have retirement pensions, and they're in and out of the hospital every day. And your 2 younger brothers, they can't study, and they're afraid of hard work when they work. They idle around all day long, waiting for you, the eldest sister, to marry them off in exchange for a bride price. What sane man would dare to marry a woman like you? Felicity was trembling with anger, and suddenly shouted, Judge, I want to accuse Aiden of murdering his wife and children, seeking wealth and killing. The crime deserves more than to die for. Felicity's testimony was like a thunderbolt, blasting Aiden's whole person into a daze. He looked at his once most beloved childhood sweetheart in disbelief. Felicity, why do you want to hurt me? Haven't I been good enough to you? I even used the down payment for our wedding home to buy you a car. And all these years, your parents' medical bills, your 2 younger brothers' tuition and living expenses, wasn't it all me who paid for it? Apart from not being able to give you a title, I wanted to give you my heart. How dare you harm me? Felicity chuckled. Harm you? Aiden, if you hadn't hinted to me that as long as Serena died, you could marry me, and we could inherit the 3 houses her parents left her, along with millions in dowry, why would I have laid a hand on her? Don't make yourself sound so innocent. I wanted Serena and the baby in her belly to die, but what about you, Aiden? Dare you swear, when you stuffed Serena into that delivery locker, you didn't want her to die? Felicity's accusation instantly electrified the entire courtroom. I knew it wasn't just the mistress who did this. If that man hadn't locked his wife in a delivery locker, could the mistress have frozen the wife to death by splashing water on her? So, it turns out this Phoenix man wanted to eat up his wife's inheritance? No wonder he stuffed his pregnant wife into a delivery locker. He must have wanted to kill his wife and child, so that all her dowry would be his. The condemnation and angry curses from the audience were like sharp arrows, piercing Aiden, who stood in the defendant's dock. And the final piece of evidence that my lawyer and I submitted to the court was like the last straw that broke the camel's back, leaving Aiden and Felicity, that dog couple, without any chance of redemption. What I handed to the court was another pregnancy test report, which I accidentally found in Aiden's study. Following the name on it, I found another pregnant woman. It turned out that she was Aiden's real mistress, and Felicity and I were just two pawns in his carefully planned inheritance snatching scheme. 2 years ago, Aiden secretly kept a pure and beautiful intern. He was afraid that I would discover his affair, but also couldn't bear to part with his young and beautiful lover, so he brought his childhood sweetheart Felicity back into the picture. He deliberately made me misunderstand that he still harbored feelings for his little childhood friend. He repeatedly indulged Felicity in spreading rumors about me, slandering me and framing me. Finally, in order to devour my inheritance, he even hinted to Felicity that if I died, he could inherit my millions worth of assets, marry Felicity, and even buy houses for her 2 younger brothers to get married. Seeing me present record after record of him accompanying his mistress to the hospital for prenatal checkups and buying her a house, Aiden's face turned paler and paler until, with a thud, he collapsed in the defendant's dock. Looking at his ghostly pale face, I smiled, without a trace of warmth in my eyes, and silently mouthed 6 words to him. Aiden, you're finished. A few days later, the court officially announced the verdict. Aiden was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. Felicity, as an accomplice, was sentenced to 10 years in prison. I also filed another lawsuit with the court, demanding that Aiden's mistress, who was 5 months pregnant, immediately return our jointly owned marital property. After the verdict was announced, Aiden seemed to have aged a decade. Looking at my calm and resolute eyes, he gave a bitter smile. Serena, if our child hadn't died, for the sake of the child, would you give me another chance? I also smiled. Aiden, I'm really glad that child didn't come into this world. Otherwise, with a criminal father in prison, they wouldn't be able to pass any civil service exams. Aiden's face turned ashen, and he staggered as the bailiffs led him away. Felicity had gone crazy. Escorted by several bailiffs, she struggled desperately, wailing and cursing incessantly. Aiden, you liar! I'll never let you go, even as a ghost. A month later, I recovered over $1,000,000 that Aiden had spent on his mistress. I sold the wedding home that Aiden and I had lived in, and moved back to my parents' house in the countryside. The vast and fertile black soil healed the wounds inflicted by this failed marriage. I was still afraid to approach any closed delivery lockers. Fortunately, the rural express delivery point didn't have cold iron lockers, only rows of open shelves. Later, Aiden wrote me many letters from prison, but I didn't read a single one. I stuffed them all into the stove to light the fire for the heated Kong bed. I heard that Felicity had committed suicide in prison. After her death, her parents Xiantahuichi, thought she was unlucky, and wouldn't even let her be buried in the family graveyard. Felicity's ashes were hastily buried by the crematorium, because no one claimed them. Aiden didn't make it to the day he was paroled. I heard that, in order to reduce his sentence, he secretly collected the dark histories of his fellow inmates. He originally wanted to report them to gain merit, but he was discovered by the inmates. I don't know how it happened, but Aiden accidentally fell into the sweet potato field while working in the prison, face down and suffocated to death. I heard this news on the winter solstice. My uncle had invited me to his house for dumplings. My aunt's family had also come back. Our family was sitting around the warm heated Kong bed, eating hot dumplings. Outside the window, snow was falling heavily and life was peaceful.